Business item tonight, but first we have an administrative item to deal with. The beginning of the year, in this cycle, we're supposed to have board nominations for a chair position and a vice chair. And does anybody have nominations for those positions?
Yes, I would like to nominate Cam for chair and George for vice chair.
Any votes to say yes for that?
I'd like to second that.
Okay.
Okay.
Any second? I'll second vice.
Okay, I'll second either.
All right, so I guess we have a chair and a vice chair. I'll remain as chair.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll remain as chair, and the vice chair will be George. Okay, so that ends that business. I'm going to shorten this little opening statement. I've gotten some suggestions that maybe we shouldn't go as long-winded on it, but I just wanted to say that HARB is an advisory board that advises our positions to the Board of Commissioners, and in that capacity, whatever we come up with as recommendations end up being reviewed by the board and either agreed with or disagreed with or agreed with conditions. There are three historic districts in Wayne: the South Wayne, North Wayne, and Luella Court districts. And if you're here tonight, you are here because you have triggered a review when anything is added onto or reconstructed in such a manner that space, scale, or height or area are affected. It comes under our review, and we're sort of an overlay to what zoning does. So with that, I think we should start. We've got HARB 2013-1, 206 Midland Avenue. Remove existing breakfast room and adding a two-story addition. Is anybody here to present? Can you introduce yourself?
Good evening. My name is Christian Wynn, and I am the builder contractor for the owner, Catherine Foote.
And if you can just walk us through pictures or graphics or anything you have, that'd be great.
This is the
Christian, also make sure you have a microphone.
Could you show us the front of the house, just so people know where it is? Thanks.
Do you want a handheld? Would that be helpful?
No, I should be fine.
Okay.
I have a big mouth.
Okay.
This is the front of the house, and it's hard to get in one picture because of the trees and plantings. So let me just slide it over. So this is the front of the house, and this is a continuation of the front of the house as it stands now. As it says, it's located 206 Midland, and the current back part of the house, you'll see this eat-in room here, and from the side view, what we're proposing to do is remove that and add a two-story addition coming to the edge of the house and continuing up to the second floor. The current breakfast room is right along here where this French door would be. We're going to continue it across, take it up to the existing soffit level, and tie into the roof. It's just a smooth coat stucco structure, kind of nondescript.
Do you have a site plan that we can just kind of quickly look at, or I know we have one in the package if you don't have it.
I don't.
Yeah.
This shows where the addition will be. It's it's a little deceiving. This is the existing part of the house, and the addition will go above that to become 2 stories.
So the existing breakfast room is a little smaller than this footprint, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're basically taking that down, making a slightly larger footprint, but it's a 2-story piece,
Yes, sir.
and matching materials.
We're just going to continue with the smooth coat stucco. It'll follow along the plane of the house where you saw in the first diagram the side of the house kind of steps down. I can pull that back out. On the back of the house, this plane of the house will continue along, so it'll blend in. And the current breakfast room is built kind of on slab, not very well done. Looks like it has had some problems with the previous owners, and we're going to put it over crawl space just to give it and continue it across to make a larger kitchen.
So this is an addition that is virtually impossible to see from the front, street level, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, the existing piece, it seems that you would not be able to see it, but when you go out to the edge and go to the second floor, maybe you can see a little piece of it, but.
It would be possible if you were down on the western part of Midland, looking across where you may see that side plane of the new addition.
I know on the elevations, it looks like you had a brick sill shown for the new windows in this addition. Is that something you can really do in a wood frame, or? And again, maybe we should just talk about that later. You guys have anything?
I guess they're trying to match the brick sill on the rest of the house.
Oh, I'm sorry. This brick sill, yes.
Yeah, because the existing house is a concrete block and stucco, and this is a frame addition with stucco, so that's kind of a different detail to do, so I didn't know how you were going to do that, or...
We'll probably use a veneered or some
Okay.
half brick to continue that kind of roll lock across there under the doors and.
So you do intend to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Got any questions, John?
No.
Okay. No questions? Andrea, anything?
No, I don't think so. So the top of the second floor then will be below the ridge of the original roof, or will it come up to the, looks like it'll be below the ridge of the original roof?
Yes, ma'am. It'll come slightly below the original ridge. I mean, the ridge. It will come down. It will not tie into the existing ridge.
And all the roofing, it'll match the original roofing materials and everything?
What will probably end up happening is that we'll probably be doing all new roof on the back of the house when we do this, and then in a second phase, we're looking at some future work to the house. We may do the front of the roof as well, but currently it would just be an asphalt shingle, matching as close as it can into the color of the existing.
Okay. And the finish of the stucco will be similar to what's there now?
Yes, ma'am. It's a very smooth troweled finish, actually sponge finished.
All right, any motions?
Public comment.
Oh, yeah. Any public comment? Okay. Go ahead.
Well, it's a pretty simple addition, and I think you've tried to match the fenestration as much as you can and blended everything into a really nice ensemble.
Thank you.
And the mass is kept consistent with other houses in the area and as well as the existing procedure. So I'd like to recommend, motion to recommend a COA.
I'll second.
A second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4-0, you're approved by us. That being said, the only thing I would add to this that's not a condition is you've got a K gutter that's kind of on this building, or is it a half round, or
It's actually kind of a mixture. The front of the house has a half round, then around the back and sides, it's a K gutter.
Okay. On the rakes of this house, the water tables kind of return, and there's a detail on the main roofs. And since this elevation of this second story is the only thing you're going to really see, if you were going to do any detail to match, I would either do the water table detail on that return, or if you're using a K gutter, just come around and then drop your downspout, so you get kind of a little crown feel to that
In this area here?
on the addition. I mean, that return is what I'm talking about. If you were to sort of try to match that on the return of the new shed,
Oh, I'm sorry.
in
Here.
that one, yeah.
Okay.
And if you have a problem with, I know you've got a kind of, the rake of that roof is trying not to go off of the other roof. You know, you're trying to, kind of minimize that. If you could just take the gutter and wrap it around that corner and then drop a spout there, that kind of gives you the same look. It's
Okay.
real simple.
Sure.
That's the only comment I
Okay.
have on that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have next on the agenda, HARB 2013-2, 319 South Wayne Avenue. We have a first floor addition. Thanks, man. So please introduce yourself and show us what you're doing.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Craig Miller, CI Miller Company, Builders and Developers. And beside me is architect Jack Aldhouse, Aldhouse and Associates. We're a little bit unprepared. We don't have a plan with us, but we knew, I think we had given you 7 sets. If we,
Why don't I give you one, because you need to be able to show them.
great. Thank you. Unprepared for class.
It's okay, we can manage. And I don't know if it helps to use a handheld mic, we have those available as well. Okay. And I guess we just have to make sure it's working. Yeah, thank you.
Just as a comment, in future applications, if you could tie in those pictures to the site plan, because it's really hard to figure out where the elevations are and what you're looking at.
Okay.
Well, sorry about that.
No problem. It's 3 demerits.
What we're proposing is a addition to the existing house in the rear of the property that would provide a family room that could then help to tie the inside of the house with the existing pool and backyard area. The home currently, the living floor is fairly high from the grade, almost maybe 4 or 5 feet, and the challenge was they wanted to be able to kind of let the house kind of step down and flow towards the pool and tie together so the indoor and outdoor spaces flowed better. So it was a lot of fun to work on, and what we came up with was an addition on the back of the home. This is the rear facade of the home, and we're standing inside the pool enclosure. You can see a little bit of the swimming pool right here. It's a beautiful home, and it steps up about 3 stories. And this is the floor level that we're trying to get to step down to the pool area. If I find another photograph here, this photo down here shows the distance from the finished floor down to the grade. Let's see if this works.
There you go.
Perfect.
Okay. This facade right here is looking this way towards the addition of the home. Does that help?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the existing home in its current outline. And then there's a wraparound porch that goes this way. And we're proposing to remove this portion of the porch and alter this portion so that we can then have fewer steps to get up to almost like a midpoint on the porch, and then a few more steps up to the main living level into a new kind of a drop-off zone for groceries and laundry and kind of a mudroom entrance for the children. They have 5 children, I believe.
3.
3. I have 5 children. They have 3. Okay.
You're going to need a bigger house.
It's been a long day. And then from there, they can go into the home, and if they have like a large gathering here that we're entertaining, the children can then migrate back upstairs to the bedrooms and so on through here. This can close off. The existing kitchen will be redone, and this room here, which is currently a dining room, opens up inside. So this whole existing part of the house now looks down into this new proposed family room, which then looks down into the pool area. So they're very excited about how this works. They are able to come down a few steps into the family room, and then from there they can come outside here and then down a few more steps inside the pool enclosure area and then enjoy the pool. This shows you the roof lines.
That little outside porch, that was added over time, right? That's not original to the house.
I'm sorry?
I'm presuming that corner porch,
This porch, existing porch here?
that's right, that was added at some time. It's not...
It was added, it looks like fairly recently,
Yeah,
to tell you the truth.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I
so
think the last was 2004. Gardner Fox had done something there.
Okay.
I don't know whether it was before that or not, but the new owners have been in the house since, I believe, August.
And the
So-
3-story wing in the back, that appears to be just added on to
this
the original
piece
house?
here,
That's pretty
that
old.
looks
I
like that's
believe.
older.
Yeah.
This section here, it looks like there were some alterations done maybe downstairs. The kitchen, existing kitchen, and kind of a pantry area next to it. These areas appear to have been altered during the same time that porch was added or modified. But this piece here, the upper floors, walking around it does appear to have an older construction date, maybe 1940s or possibly earlier.
But added to the original house,
I believe so.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
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 That third
I'm
floor
sorry, I have
is
a sight
probably
hearing problem, so.
added as
The
well.
impervious coverage was on the 2004 plan, because they came in, I believe, 2004 and added a garage, tore a garage down, and a new garage/pool house was added in '04. So the impervious coverage as far as the new addition, we're under the 500 square foot. I think we're 443 or something like
Right.
that. Staying out of having to do groundwater seepage pit.
We're proposing to match the finishes of the existing home, including the color, shingles and windows treatment and style and facing here. At the base of this, we're proposing to put a cultured stone baseline here, so we kind of diminish the height of this a little bit by changing texture and material there. And then railing style, I tried to mimic what the front porch was doing. I thought that would look nicer instead of maintaining what was already there. I decided to alter that. And that's basically what we're doing.
The column bases, are they going to match the front porch on this? I mean, the front porch has sort of
Thin.
the bases are sort of a rusticated block or some sort of thing.
They appear to be a stucco-covered block, or they're not. They're about 18 inches by 18, and then they have like a capstone, and then the column goes from there.
They're actually there now. They are here now, and it's filled in with the lattice in between. I think it covers them over.
That's true. Yeah, the ones back here.
Right.
So we're picking up on that, and I was trying to make the column look a little bit more like what was out front there.
Right, have a higher base on the.
Yes, sir,
And
we
the
raised it.
stone is, on the rest of the house, is it a kind of a rubble stone like this, or is it?
It's almost the way the foundation was laid up and just has a rough porridge on top of it. And you really only see as far as it's lower than water table height.
Yeah, I only saw one little tiny
you
corner,
don't
and I
really
could
see
barely
all the
see
way
it. So-
around.
But that was the idea, is that you would try to match that base
Yes, sir,
coming
we're going to
around.
match that. I don't have a good photograph that shows the existing. You can see,
As far as detail on moldings and whatnot and overhangs and eaves,
you can see a little bit of it here.
we'll throw the crown in and, just maintain what the exterior of the house looks like.
Is that stucco sort of a mild pebble?
It's got
Little
that, exposed pebble finish.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't know if I would recommend that totally, just the way stucco has been in the area. We've done so much remediation work on stucco guy's not doing it the right way. The more coarse it is, you know, and without the wheat
Right.
screen in there,
Right.
that could present a problem, but we're going to try to match it as closely as we can.
And so it sort of looks like you're altering the floor height on that existing side porch, but the roof line is going to remain the same, or you're going to take it all off and?
Right here?
Yeah, what'll happen is when you walk up from the back of the house, we've actually lowered the stairs down to meet the new floor level of the new room. So when you're in the kitchen, you'll actually go down 3 rises, 2 treads
Right.
to the new family room, and there'll be a side entrance door coming up that porch. So if I came up top, turned right, going towards the mud room, if I turned left, I'd be walking into the new family room with its own entrance,
Well, I guess the question is the
which is here.
laundry mud space, is that underneath the existing roof?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And so then that existing roof will continue to wrap around, and at some point where that shed is, the existing shed roof
Right.
and backboard, you'll sort of take that off and then wrap around with
Yeah,
new
we're going to
new
wind
work.
the hip all the way around, and then the longer hip over on the new addition will extend further out.
It sweeps further, and because it drops down, it's
Right.
able to sweep out further.
But same plane of roof all the way through,
Okay.
like it was done originally, if it had been done originally when the house was built.
So I think this shows how it does a step down. The sweep just continues. We maintain the slope throughout here. And because this is a lower floor section, we just roof it under one common roof. It should be pretty fun to look at when it's finished.
Yeah. It's a beautiful home.
Yeah, really, it is. I mean, it's, that color really makes it pop, too, which is, you know, and it looks like it's really maintained well.
Yep, the yellow house.
You can keep going on the elevations, but if you go back to well, once you're finished with the elevations, and I want to go to the roof plan if I could after you're done with that. Is that okay? Okay. Can we see the sides of the other 2 elevations?
This is a side elevation. It shows how the roof sweeps along the side here. This wall in the inside is an entertainment center, and like a flueless gas fireplace is located there. So that's why there's no fenestration here. But we heavied up the fenestration on the back side, so there was quite a bit of view towards the yard.
Does that new section, that wall that you were just mentioning about, does
Right
that
here?
project out from the house?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It projects out. I can get to It projects out 14 feet from the face of the house. This is the fireplace here, and this is the entertainment center here.
Do you have an elevation, a proposed elevation from the front, from the street that shows what it will look like? I mean, I know it's flat on, but with the new addition?
I apologize, we didn't include an elevation from this side. There is a double window here that would match the windows that we're showing on the back, if that's any help. And most of this elevation here is shielded by the existing porch, which extends out to this point here, which is about 8 feet, maybe 9 feet.
And then the addition in the back would go out a little bit further than that. Is that right? I mean,
The addition in the back, you mean this?
Yeah.
Yes, this would protrude out 14 feet. So I believe the net difference is about 5 or 6 feet additional protrusion.
I guess that if you go to the roof plan, I can explain that edge is the only thing that I have a problem with at all on this.
This edge here?
In that, you know, the front porch has, you know, hipped corners, you know,
The way it does
everything,
a double hip there.
everything returns back to the house. You kind of start that way on the other side, you know, you come off of a mass and then you just kind of hip around. But then it ends up being this kind of chop.
Okay.
And I know you've got, you know, an indent, a skylight, and all this stuff to deal with in that corner, but
It got a little crazy.
it would be really nice to see somehow, you've probably looked at this a million times, but I don't know if it's possible, but is it possible to clip it around? It looks like it might be kind of a problem, but you know what I mean about?
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Just wind it around the corner.
It's one of those things where in architecture they tell us to, if you're going to do it well or don't do it at all, and in between looks like a mistake. So I hesitated to try to, because if I was going to do it, I would probably start here and
Right.
fold it down, because that would make sense architecturally. However,
You have a
inside,
cricket in here.
inside, what we lose is a desire of the owner to have a cathedral ceiling effect over the entertainment area. So that's why I
Okay.
maintain a monoslope there. And I was hoping that.
And you
because-
also, you have a window on the first floor problem too, I think, because that roof line would get longer towards the front of the house if you hipped it, and probably land right in the window below. If you look at that side elevation, I think that was the other problem I was looking at.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I have a slight
don't have
hearing
an
problem.
elevation.
Oh, I'm sorry. This elevation here,
This one
if you
here?
if you were to hip that straight edge,
Like this?
yeah, that roof line would have to stick out further,
Yeah, it would extend into
and
the
then you would
window.
return it right into the window.
Right.
Correct.
So, you know,
It'd be like,
I think their original plan, the homeowners, and they have all their equipment is over on this side, their condenser units.
okay.
But originally, staying within the 500 square foot, so we don't go beyond the impervious coverage, I think the plan originally was to tie that porch through, so they had a walk-around porch, but we'd be well above the 900 square foot that we were looking at, so.
That restricted me to be
And
able to
equipment.
solve that nicely.
Yeah, that would
We
have gone
could
away.
try
That would have been beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what we were hoping for, but it was just coming in too high.
Here's a thought. I'm just winging it here. The upper portion of the house has a shingle-style facade. I can get to the photos quickly. Along, well, where's my finger? Okay, along here, this changes to like a horizontal siding that almost feels like a shaker style. If
Where that flare is.
where that triangle is above there, if that were to change siding maybe so it wasn't stucco all the way up, just make it more of the horizontal board, maybe that would help soften the effect of that.
The shake effect,
Yeah,
yeah.
because that demarcation happens all the way around the home. That would be so.
Yeah, well, that was kind of the next phase, is that sort of, is there a roof line to be able to, can we work with that? Or on that side, if it's going to stay, what does it look like? Because we don't have a view of that. So this is exactly what we need to know, is that you would take stucco up to a line, which would be the soffit line of the roof, or the return. And then above that, you would go to a horizontal or a cedar shake, or,
Right here at the existing home is where that finish changes.
does the
From here
shed
down.
that's there now, does that have a siding on it?
I'm sorry?
This shed that's currently off the back, is this, or the rake's siding?
It has siding, yes.
Okay,
Either
so
siding.
you could just mimic that then, I guess.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if it shows up in the photo, but right here, the photograph indicates that there's siding
Yeah,
there.
that clip.
Okay, so if you can imagine that going around the corner
Then I think we were going
and
to put
being
an eave extension in
infilled
there as
solid
well,
beneath
I
it,
think.
that's what he's talking about doing.
I could also introduce a shadow line there, have the siding pop out a little bit, 3 or 4 inches, so that we get a clear break there between the finishes. That would help prevent it from looking developerish.
Yeah,
Maybe
That's-
we can include that flare and put an eave extension on that end. Put a 1-foot overhang, and as you come down to the stucco, we'll put the swoop on that you see all around the house.
yeah, just
The little
whatever you
flare
can
piece.
do
Yeah,
if
you
you're,
have a little flare that runs around between your second floor and first floor,
right.
and that'll maybe pull that end back into what exists
is that a flare in the shingles?
in the shakes.
In the shakes?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
up higher though, I think.
It's up higher than where
So
we're talking.
you're sort of going to, I think, end up with that detail that's on the shed now. And that probably is all you need, that's probably
Yeah.
all
And
you
a
need.
drip table, put that drip table
Yeah,
back
I
in and
would,
have a
I
piece
wouldn't
of
do more
millwork.
than that. Yeah, I wouldn't try to mimic this. I would just let it do what this is happening. That
Right.
would make more sense, I think.
Right.
Well, you're also having a sliding door there, so that'll break up the bottom mass.
We have a double
Well,
window
Yeah,
there that
double
has a
window
low
there.
sill.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. So the windows would be similar to what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Set a little bit lower because the floor drops. So I would try to make those windows look like they're the same as these, so they go together.
Bring it up. about that corner.
Well, it's just, that's
No,
the
it
only,
is, it
that's
is.
the only shape. I mean, this, the shape of the addition is not sort of, the house is as big as it was supposed to be, and then it went up, in the history of the house. So now it's going through another historical addition. So the only thing you can do is make the footprint a little bigger. So it's a little different shape than what's kind of consistent with that style house. But you're going to detail it in such a way that, it brings it back to that. And match everything else, which I think is, and, the house as it exists today has the same window styles. It has bay windows on the second floor. They're bringing that element down. The hips are there. It used to have a shed. We're going to have one shed, now. So those are kind of my comments. It's just, I just had that one issue with that corner, and if you want to have that consistent cathedral and kind of orient it all to that entertainment area and have it all straight, you're not going to get away with that without making the room longer,
Right.
which then blows you out of the water on coverage and all those other things.
Well, I think it's better to have it the way they've shown it rather than to make a hip, because if they have to bring it out further than from the front of the house, you would see it more. Whereas the way that you've designed it, you won't see it quite as much.
Exactly.
I think looking to the front of the house, the porch itself obscures the back. In fact, your eye will go to the porch rather than looking through the back.
Yeah, my feeling is that, it is on the back of the house. It's a rear addition. You will see it a little bit from the street, but not much. Like you say, your eye will focus on the, and I think the details that you're talking about are consistent with the rest of the house. So, I think it's in keeping with the massing. And the other thing is that the house has so many, it looks like it's had so many additions to it already. And as Cam said, it's sort of going through its second phase of historic.
Third or fourth or whatever.
Or whatever, yeah. So to me, especially since it's on the rear of the house, I think it falls within the, the purview of the heart. I mean, it falls within our guidelines.
And I agree with that. I don't know if you're going to see that much of it from the street. To try to match this to the, original historical footprint of this house probably doesn't make sense at this point because of the significant additions that have been made over the years.
You really have two houses here. One, the front facade is really totally different looking than the back facade, even though they all match. And if you try to duplicate the front, you're way off, because when you look up to the second and third floors, it's just crazy.
Yes.
And what I really like about the addition, that it really takes that to its advantage. And it appears, even though it's the same first-story size, it still appears very low, and somehow it integrates very well with that taller mass in the middle.
Kind of brings it into perspective a little bit.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
it looks long,
wider
it's low and wide. That's what it appears like.
Right.
I mean,
Creates a good
not
base.
It really does. It creates a really
Base,
nice base in
yeah.
proportion to the
For the
tower
tower,
at the top,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right. And you still have elements from the front coming into the back.
That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, good
You
design.
hit that right on the head,
Good design.
what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, the homeowner has a pretty strict budget, so we were trying to work in a standing seam.
Don't you hate homeowners?
But we were trying to work in a standing seam roof all the way around.
that'd be
and-
nice.
And coincide with the black shutters, but, yeah, it's unfortunate.
They'll be,
Well,
they'll be
it's a
putting new
striking house.
asphalt shingles in
It's a
6 years.
beautiful house.
Does the
It's
front,
a,
does
it's
the
a
front
great family
shed,
to work for.
Is
They're,
it?
they're a very close
On the
family,
porch
and they
have-
like to all be
is
together.
that a standing seam?
What's that? I'm
The
sorry.
the front porch, is that a standing
No,
seam?
it's actually got shingles. They actually had thought about changing that, but these people, you never know, down the line,
I'd spend the money up front and then.
yeah, I would too. Yeah, curb appeal is,
Okay.
Well, any other questions?
Yeah. Motion to recommend a COA?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, 4-0. Okay, so you've passed through our HARB process, and now that's it will be reviewed by the Board of Commissioners. Actually, our recommendation will be reviewed, and then, assuming they agree with it, that'll be the official okay. Do we know when that meeting is?
We are hoping to get it on for Monday night's meeting, but I don't know
Okay, thanks.
Like Monday, next week, Monday?
next week, Monday.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Okay. All right.
So what would it go to, the following month?
There's two a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not too far off. And then you're okay with coverage and zoning and all that. If you don't have any other issues, then it's building permits as usual.
Yeah, I went through all that with Kevin.
Okay.
and, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's a very, very nice job,
you.
and
Very
thank
nice
you. Good
meeting
luck
you
with
all.
it. Okay? Thank you.
It's beautiful.
That's it.
All right, do we have any new? Oh, yeah. Do we have any new business that we'd like to bring up, because we're at that stage? No? Okay. We have one old business item. We have a returning member of our community, HARB 11-17A, 200 West Wayne Avenue. Demolish one-story addition on existing structure and replace with garage and two-story addition. This was submitted previously and approved by us, and has now come back with some slight modifications which are being looked at. We're looking at it again to see if it has any impact. So introduce yourself. And
Good evening, I'm Matt Paolino, and I'm here as the applicant. Yeah, as we were originally here, and we received approval for this addition. Sorry.
Matt, do you
And,
want the handheld? Is that easier for you?
No, I'm probably okay.
Okay.
And as we've gone through the building permit process, we've had to make some changes along the way. We had originally there was thought that we had to use an elevator, and this plan was designed in accordance with that, but that really prohibited the budgetary constraints of this renovation, and we eventually were able to convince that we didn't have to conform to that. So we were able to eliminate the elevator, but that shifted a staircase, which is this part of the building right here. And in doing that, you'll see that it led to a couple changes in this roof line here. The original building doesn't show this little bump out, and the dormer's a little different right in here. There are no changes to the front elevation resulting from that as we went through the process. But I believe there was also a change to the
I think that, from what I saw, the overall size of the addition is
is
almost
identical.
the same. It's
The overall size is identical. It's really just the roof lines and that window placement created by the stair tower flipping
Yeah,
and eliminating the elevator.
I'm trying to recall, you've been here about 3 times, I think, at least.
Well,
least 2 times.
we were here once for the original approval. Then, when we realized the financial burden of the way we were trying to do the addition, what happened is this is an older building, and it's a multifamily building, and unlike a normal home, if someone goes in and renovates, they can renovate what they want, but they can leave a lot of non-conforming things the way they are. They don't have to go back and redo the house. We, on the other hand, have to go back and basically rebuild the building to make it conform. So we have to go back in and put sprinklers in. There was thought we had to put an elevator in because that's required under the new codes. We have to make a unit that never existed handicapped accessible now. And all these kind of things led to changes along the way, most of which have no effect on what you see, with the exception of being able to eliminate the elevator. So it got to a point where the project wasn't feasible. We came back in here with an alternate plan to do something different and actually build some single family, take the same mass and do something different. We never got anywhere with that project, so we were going to raise the building, gut it, and then do an addition in a totally different direction and build some single-family row homes. That never really went nowhere. And we went back to trying to work on this permit, and we were eventually able to get rid of the requirement of the elevator. And in doing so, this became feasible again, so then we kept the permitting process going with this. So I think this would be the third time we're here.
Yeah, I remember, I'm trying to recall, you,
I might have been here for something else, but
yeah, no, because we were discussing, you were here discussing the design you have right here. And we were all talking about the sides, the front. In fact, I brought up the point that some of the elevations didn't mesh with what was on the other side. I don't remember whether we even voted for a COA then. I think you really just, you were here and you decided you weren't going through the project right now, but while you were here, you just wanted to get our feedback.
that sounds, yeah, that was that middle visit.
So we never voted for anything at the time?
Well, we originally voted for a COA for this, and it was approved.
No.
And
I mean,
then-
the first time you were here, this is what I recalled. Then you came back again, and that's where I get lost.
Okay, I think the first time I was here, this was actually an approved plan. The second time I was here, I think is sort of what you're recalling.
Okay,
We never went anywhere, that's right.
okay.
And never, we were talking about doing something, you never voted on it.
You withdrew it, I think.
Yes.
Yes, okay,
And then we went back and tried to get this to work.
okay.
And in doing so, we had to tweak a few things without ultimately changing the footprint, but changing some roof lines and stuff like that. So we're back here. We pretty much worked through all the permitting issues in terms of code compliance, I should say. And one of the final steps was they said, hey, but with the changes to these roof lines, Harb should probably revisit it, the change to the roof lines and make sure they were okay with it. So that brought us back here, I guess, as old business.
So what you're here for basically is a revision to the roof lines? And
Yes.
everything else
In
remains
other words,
the same?
the changes to the plan that you previously approved versus this plan that were resulting from us changing, removing the elevator and installing a stairway instead.
So it's kind of that connector between
Yes.
the additions has changed in mass.
Yes.
So that's
We're putting a
what's
stair in there instead of an elevator. So the elevator was a little more compact, and of course, the windows in the
there.
stairway, we moved things around so that, windows are lining up at landings and stuff like that.
Well, maybe you could, the smaller scale plan is what you've already shown us. Maybe you could put side by side each elevation and just kind of show us quickly
Well,
each one and what the change is, and then
okay.
we can see.
We looked at the,
Just be mindful of our window.
yes, we did the left side, right?
Up
Let me
here.
see, I'm sorry, I didn't bring, maybe we can do it like this. There's nothing changed on the front elevation, so
Okay.
you don't have to look at that. The rear elevation,
We're looking at construction drawings now?
yes.
Okay.
Pseudo, yeah.
Original, new.
Is that missing one window?
The dormer is now a double window. That's original.
Oh, okay.
And we lined double windows up all through here.
See that,
And-
the highest mansard on the left is smaller. See how that works? Than the top one.
Mm-hmm,
So that's where when the elevator disappeared,
Yes.
that roof line got smaller.
mm-hmm.
And if we go to the right side elevation.
I like that better. It's a more better alignment with those double windows.
We have, once again, this through here now is just slightly different. This little bump out here is a little bit different than originally shown. And he made these two windows, he arched this. I just thought the architect felt that looked better. That was there was no real purpose for that. So, but they would be the changes on this side elevation.
Now, before, the way you had it, those three windows in that little tower that connects the original building and the new construction?
This area here,
Yes.
as opposed to this.
The original, right. Now, that looked, on the original, it's hard to see, it looks like it was all in the same plane as the new construction?
Well,
And the new one looks like it's
I think-
staggered?
There's a little jog in it now, I think, is what.
yeah, there's definitely a jog in it now. But as I remember, I think somewhere along the way we determined the original drawing may not have been perfectly correct. You have the same little jog, really. Sorry. What I'm saying is that the footprint hasn't changed, actually.
Okay.
The drawing looks different.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from
Yeah.
the drawing what's going on there.
I think the original drawing probably doesn't show the jog clearly.
Okay.
Now, this side, of course, you can't see from the street. This is a budding, that's an interior lot, so you can't even see that.
Is there any way, is there any compelling reason that you have to go to double dormers on the mansard,
In the back,
on any of the new work? It's, I mean, the rest of the building is all singles,
well,
I think. I think it is.
let's go up to the third floor and see what's there. I mean, the one is a bedroom in the back there. That would be this bedroom here. I think he did that just for light. I think that was really an interior feature. That is the back of the property, so it's really not visible, once again, from the street. The other double dormer is, where's the other double dormer we're talking about?
It'd be on the side elevation,
It would be on the side?
yeah.
Okay, yes. Once again, that's not really, that wouldn't be visible from the street as well, and that would be in the other bedroom. So I think he was trying to just put light into those two bedrooms. And neither of those are visible from the street.
I mean, you know, to me, the massing is virtually the same.
Yeah,
You know.
I think so. The only thing that bothers me a little bit, again, it's the back of the building, and it's the side, is that you have so much going on in the new part of the building. You have the curved windows, you have the double dormer windows, and then you have the flat windows. And I'm just wondering if it's, you know, we're looking at it straight on, so it's a little bit more obvious, I think, than it will be when it's built. But I think that's one reason that double dormer is bothering me a little bit.
I don't really necessarily have a problem with the ones in the body of the building.
No.
Because it's, you know, that's kind of a changeable thing. But, you know, in the dormer, it's kind of heavy for that much space. So that, you know, again, it's in the back, so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it is the back. I don't think it's historically accurate in
No.
terms of, I don't think they would have done that. I think they would have had three single dormers. But, I mean, it is the back of the building.
But it does match up now with the double windows on the 2 floors below it, which makes it somewhat symmetrical.
Which ones?
Where?
The tower.
Oh,
See, right here. You got a double, double, double.
Oh, you're on
Come all the way
another
down.
side. I was looking at the other side.
Okay.
George, she was looking at this elevation.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you slide over the rear elevation of the newest version?
Yeah.
There you go, okay, yeah. Yes, I was looking at that, okay.
Yeah, that elevation, you know, it may not, I think it doesn't, because it is right in a row, it doesn't call attention to itself.
Right.
Whereas over here, there's so much going on, I think that's why it's calling attention to itself more.
On that sort of south side, that's
Yeah.
the south one, yeah.
How visible will that be from the street?
It will not be visible because the building actually, your street elevation is this elevation and this elevation. And there's a house next to it, which I own. So that would be the only property that could see it.
I mean, my comment, I think, in terms of the windows, would be those curved windows. They don't seem to relate to anything.
Yeah, I don't know where
else
that
on the
came from.
house. I think if those were flattened, and I understand why the architect might have wanted to do that, because he thought it would bring interest to that facade a little bit, but I think there's so much going on in that facade with the, you have the two double windows and they're not underneath each other. You have the curved windows, and then you have the single windows, and then you have the bump out. There's so much going on there. And I don't know that those curves, I don't think that they relate historically to the rest of the original house. I mean,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Well, on the original approval, there's basically the same thing.
no.
We have the
Okay.
double up there, we have, maybe this
No,
one
but
window
that's
has
flat,
changed.
though. Oh, I see.
But look how, I mean, they're all different.
Yeah, they're all different. It's, to me, it's sort of minor because it's in the back and you don't really see it, but,
I really don't think there would be an issue with making that window
I mean,
square.
I think it's totally minor.
Rectangular or whatever the,
It's
shape
just
would
that
be.
I think it carries through, if you're trying to be within the style of the original house, that to keep it, to simplify it is better rather than to make it more
And
complicated.
I don't think I would have a problem with simplifying it. I mean, I think that was done for an interior effect probably too. But a rectangular window there,
Yeah, I mean, it's minor.
yeah, it wouldn't bother me one way or the other.
Well, I think from a massing standpoint, we're good. We didn't change hardly anything, so, it's still all stepping down. The main house is hierarchically the biggest component, and then everything steps down from that or gets thinner from that. As not a condition, I would say I would prefer to see single dormers on the mansards down below. Keep them all rectangular. Not a condition of disapproval or approval, but just that would be a comment.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think it would be, I don't think it.
We'll look at it.
Given that it's not on the front and so
Okay.
forth, so.
Yeah, it's a suggestion.
Okay, thank you.
Your carpenters would like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As with the paycheck.
Maybe it's cheaper, too.
Right. Yeah.
And again, you're still going with matching details and all that jazz. Okay.
Yep.
I think the proposal is so much better than what's there. I mean, it really is it looks like it's going to be a much more unified building than it is now.
So you got out of the elevator by getting one unit that's accessible? That's how it worked?
I think we just got out of the elevator because there are certain leeways that they can take, how far you have to go renovating the building. And
But you offered an accommodation on the
yes,
first floor.
we did
so that-
offer accommodation on the first floor.
And there's a
yes.
certain percentage of,
Yeah.
that's not even our venue, but I'm just curious.
Yeah. 2 years later, I forget at this
Yeah.
point.
I know.
So,
Well, anybody else? Any public comment? Okay. Why don't you make a
I
recommendation?
don't know if you
I'll
do.
recommend
No, we don't.
us-
We're not recommending anything.
Oh, that's right, we're not.
Let's just make sure we just do it.
Yes.
Let's just
Should we do it?
You need to,
Okay.
A COA?
you need to,
Re-recommend it?
yes, as the change for the.
Okay. So go.
Okay, I re-recommend a COA for the approval of the plans as shown tonight.
A second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. Okay?
Thank you.
You know the process, you know what you've got to go through.
Yeah.
And, again, those are recommendations. I think it would look better if you did those, but,
Yeah. I might agree with you.
okay. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening.
All right. Do we have anything else anybody wants to, does anybody in the audience have anything that they would like to speak about or talk about new projects or anything that is on their mind? Okay. I will make a motion to adjourn. Does anybody second that?
Second.
Okay. We are closed.